We have been left behind. Many of our people continue to live in squalor and poverty, so many of them living in overcrowded misery and suffering at the capital, where the slums of the poor surround the tall buildings of the wealthy, where everyone, rich and poor, suffers from the oppression of over-centralization. But we are blessed with a beautiful country, and we have the potential for great progress and prosperity. All we need is a new beginning to bring us a better tomorrow. We must welcome job-creating foreign direct investors. We need federalism to decongest the capital and develop the regions. We need a parliamentary system for long-term leadership and sustainable good governance. The Philippines needs constitutional reform.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good evening to all. My name is Orion Perez Dumdum. You all know that. And I hope you can continue to spread this link to as many people as possible so that we can get the message far and wide. So first of all, I wanted to emphasize why I'm speaking in English. And that is because this is not just for Filipinos only. So I cannot speak in Tagalog or Cebuano. I need to speak in English because I want to basically reach a wider audience from outside of just the Filipino community. I want to make sure that as many people from outside, like other foreigners, as well as Singaporeans, can basically understand the whole situation as everybody should understand it. Okay, so I'm speaking in English for that. Now, first of all, why did I show some stuff with correct? It's important for people to understand what correct is all about. A lot of people don't understand what it is, and there have been just so many people, particularly among these little cyberbullies from here in Singapore, who really don't understand what it is, and they've been spreading all sorts of fake news about the movement. They don't understand that we are not prohibited from blogging. That's the thing. So what exactly is correct all about? I am essentially a blogger. I'm essentially someone who's lived and worked in Singapore, and I've been such a big fan of how Singapore works, how Singapore was able to become an extremely rich country, a very successful country from a country that was not successful before. It used to be successful as a trading hub that was operated by other people, basically the British, right? And then it suddenly got thrust into independence, and it had to do things properly, and it was able to do so and leapfrog and move up from a country that had so many poor and uneducated and sometimes even illiterate people. It has become one of the most educated, most literate, most tech savvy countries in the world. one of the richest countries, most successful countries in the world. And that's why I have repeatedly told so many Filipinos and other people with an interest in seeing the Philippines improve that we must learn from Singapore. It's a no-brainer, ladies and gentlemen. Why do I keep on saying this? Why why do I keep saying we should learn from Singapore? Because Singapore was also a third world country. You look at what Singapore looked like before when Singapore was still largely poor. You would see slums. You would see slums. You would see photos of slum town space, squatter areas. So people didn't live there. They didn't really own that place. They weren't even paying rent. They just made their makeshift houses there, and then it was filthy. And it's just the same as what we have in the Philippines. They had the same here in Singapore. And then Singapore was able to fix that. Why? Because they had good governance. Why did they have good governance? Well, there's no hard and fast answer there, but one of the things that enabled them to have good governance was their parliamentary system. Parliamentary systems are not like presidential systems where it's very much a popularity contest. In a parliamentary system, yes, there is a bit of popularity, a little bit of popularity in there as well, but it's mostly a popularity between parties, Party A versus Party B. And because they're about parties rather than individual people, these parties have to talk about what their plans are, what they plan to do. Party A says, we're going to give you freebies. Party B probably says, no, no, we're not going to give you freebies, but we're going to work hard together because this is more realistic, et cetera, and so forth. And it's this Party B that actually made Singapore become the success that it is today. How is that possible? Well, it was the Party B because they didn't start off as the party that they have today. The party that made Singapore the successful party that it is today was not the original ruling party. It used to be the Labor Front with David Marshall. Okay, he's the founder of the Workers. He was actually the founder of the Workers' Party, and so essentially, it, they were not the ones. They came next later on. Once after, yeah, they came in, and then later on they won and they became the ruling party. But they were not originally the ruling party. They became a ruling party towards the tail end of British rule. Okay, now when they finally became independent, they were already the ruling party at that point in time. Anyway, there's a lot of stuff that we can learn from Singapore. That's why I've always been saying that the Philippines should learn from Singapore, that we should learn to be open to foreign direct investors. That's what Singapore has been doing, right? So it's a no-brainer. We need to learn the best practices that we can learn from Singapore, because Singapore is the closest example to the Philippines as being having been poor and now it is very rich. And a lot of other countries are doing the same. Even Malaysia is copying Singapore. A lot of other countries have done that. China, for instance, Deng Xiaoping learned from Singapore, learned from Lee Kuan, Lee Kuan Yew. He visited Singapore. He saw what was happening. He asked Lee Kuan Yew for advice. He got some tips, and that's what he did. Right when he got back, he immediately embarked on a mission to do what Singapore was doing. Right, and that's why China is the superpower that it is today, because they decided that they wanted to do what Singapore was doing, which is to have capitalism, bringing in foreign direct investors. Right, he did that particularly when he set up those special economic zones, especially Shenzhen, which is right next to Hong Kong. And from that, he was able to have a pilot study that he could share to his Communist Party comrades and say, look, I have a working model here in Shenzhen. It works. If we do what Singapore does by bringing in investors into this place and we're able to make it work, we can do the same for the rest of China. And that's how China became the very successful country that it is. So I've been doing that. I've been sharing all kinds of best practices about Singapore. I've been talking all about that over and over and over and over again, right? That's how I ended up getting 66,000 followers, because I was always preaching about how the Philippines can improve by learning from Singapore and learning from other countries that have also done a lot of good things. One thing that Singapore doesn't have that we need, because we are a huge country and Singapore is a small country, is that we need federalism. Singapore doesn't need federalism because they're actually a small country. They can essentially be one unit with only one main layer of governance, which is they already have their government. The country government is basically the government of the whole place. They can do that because they're small enough. We can't do that. We need different levels, and we're going to need to have autonomy for different regions because not all regions are the same. Not all regions have the same culture. Not all regions have the same way of doing things economically, not the same kinds of industries, not the same kinds of sectors. It's very simple. You can't do a one size fits all way of running things in the Philippines. Region 1, region 2, region 3, they're all different from each other in many ways. So we need federalism there. Obviously, I said the parliamentary system is very important because that's how you're going to get good leaders at all levels, right? So, there it's weird because you have all these weird psychopathic evil people here in Singapore. There's actually just a small bunch of them, but they're very loud and noisy and really evil and really vicious. Okay, and I'm going to show you photos of what they look like so you know who these people are. And I hope Singapore's um, leaders pay heed because these are the people who are destroying Singapore. Singapore is a beautiful country. It's a global hub, but it can lose that status if you allow these people to continue to make things hard for foreigners like me, for foreigners in general, because these people, these evil psychopaths, they're the kinds of people who are actually driving foreign investors away. They're the kinds of people who are making it hard for foreign workers and even making it hard for local citizens as well, because this group of people, the ones I'm going to show you later on, they're the same evil bastards. And I'm allowed to say this because they really are. Same evil bastards who actually cyberbullied a lot of Singaporeans in the past. Okay? So they're not just cyberbullying Filipinos and other foreigners, they're cyberbullying lots of locals. They cyberbullied a lot of people in the past. So Singapore needs to deal with them. I mean, really, the authorities need to deal with these people. So let's talk about what happened. Just recently, you know, there have been some people who created a TikTok entry against me on, basically on TikTok. And all these people, these clueless people who don't know anything about me, they just basically jumped on the bandwagon and started attacking me without knowing the real story. And this is the real story. The real story comes from first of all, back in January. January, we had Zoe Gabriel. Um, she blogged about receiving this gift of the what do you call this? Sorry, the Charles and Keith bag that she got from her dad, and she said this is the very first luxury bag that I've ever had, right? And so what happened now is a lot of people from Singapore, unfortunately, cyberbullied her because they were saying no, C and K is not luxury. It's not a very expensive brand. Blah 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 blah. And anyway, she explained that look, when we were starting off, we didn't have much. She didn't say, oh, we were poor or we are poor. She didn't say that. She said, when I was starting off, when my family was starting off here in Singapore, we didn't have much. And I understood that story because that's really how it is for many people who start off in Singapore. When you start off in Singapore, you're probably not going to be earning a huge salary. You're probably going to be earning a certain salary, which is, well, better than what you're earning in the Philippines. But maybe for Singapore, you're not going to be able to really enjoy a lot of luxuries, right? So, but that's fine. Then you have your family with you. You're going to basically try to, make it all work out. So you have rent to pay. You have got the things for food. You have to spend for food. You have to spend for school, etc. So not much left for, for luxury items. Okay. So very clear. You can't do luxuries yet. Then later on, maybe, things progress and things get better, and then maybe you have more, or at least you're able to save more for that rainy day. And you can't have luxuries every day. Maybe you're just gonna say, we're gonna have like once a week we're gonna eat out, right? So but we're gonna scrimp every day. Every day we're just gonna have very simple meals, hawker center, nothing more than $3, that sort of thing. And then on Sunday, then we're gonna eat at Swenson's or something like that, and or maybe it might be once a month. I don't know. It depends, right? So it's possible to have these treats once in a while, but you have to budget. And that's what the Gabriel family was doing. I explained that very carefully before. I mean, anyway, I think that's the situation there. So um, Zoe Gabriel basically explained that we didn't have much before, and in a way, they're still actually on a budget. So you know, I can understand why, because there's four of them in the family. So here, I wanted to show you guys what it was that started the whole thing. And I also wanted to say, why is correct very important? Why is correcting the Constitution of the Philippines important? Why? Because we only have one country for ourselves. Really, there's only one country. It's the Philippines. Whether we like it or not, there's no place like home. Singapore is really not like, I'm living in Singapore, but well, I'm now being made to feel unwelcome by these cyberbullies and people that they've been able to hoodwink into thinking that I'm anti-Singaporean. I mean, it's ridiculous, right? Somebody who has for the past 20 plus years been singing all praises for Singapore and how Singapore's people were able to move up. I've been saying all kinds of positive stuff, and then suddenly these weirdos are going to call me anti-Singaporean. I mean, that's totally absurd, right? But okay. Let's show you how it all started. All right. So it all started in April, right? In April, there was this person named Serene Ho. This is one of the psychopaths. All right. And she basically said, appears that the Charles and Keith Pinoy girl is not as poor as she. It appears that the Charles and Keith Pinoy girl is not as poor as she makes herself out to be. Her dad probably earns more than most Singaporeans. How many of us can afford to homeschool our kids? Don't be hoodwinked by her. I mean, come on, man. First of all, if you can see the slide that I put up, right? Zoe was going to school at Orchid Park Secondary School. Okay. And if you're a Singapore citizen and you send your kid to Orchid Park Secondary School, which is basically a public school, it's a Ministry of Education school, right? You only pay $25. Okay, if you're a Singapore citizen. Now, if you're a permanent resident, you have to pay something like 25 times that. 25 or a little over 25 times that. Sorry, 20 times that. So you pay, yeah, it's 20 times that, because that's why you have 5520, right? Look at that. That's a huge amount. It's a huge jump from Singapore citizen, and then permanent resident has to pay 520 per month to send the kid to school, right? And if you're a foreigner, like if in the case of Zoe Gabriel's dad, Donnie Gabriel, he's an EP holder, and everybody else in the family is a dependence pass holder. So there are foreigners from an ASEAN country. The Philippines is an ASEAN country. They have to pay 930, Singapore dollars per month, right? So look at that, guys. That alone is clear. It's very clear cut. When you're a foreigner, you have to pay a lot of money. So therefore, you Serene Ho was wrong in automatically stating that they're trying to basically say that they're rich, or that they're, oh, and how many of us can afford to homeschool our kids? What? That is the stupidest thing she's ever said. That Serene Ho is really totally ignorant. Totally ignorant. She doesn't understand that homeschooling is a lot cheaper than sending your kid to school for 930 bucks a month. Okay? 930 bucks a month for secondary school, because like high school here in Singapore is expensive. right? It's $930 a month. Now, obviously, yes, homeschooling is more expensive than if you're a Singapore citizen, only paying $25. Because maybe so what I understand, I did some Googling. When you do homeschooling in Singapore, like when you do homeschooling, you're basically paying an educational institution that offers homeschooling a fee every month. And that allows you to get sent books and all kinds of study material, and then you get access to a website, which is where you take your exams, right? So you're going to be paying something like maybe $70 or $100 a month to have that access. So I mean, like if you go, you can have your homeschooling from a U.S. institution or a UK institution. You can choose, right? So you choose, and you choose how much it costs, etc. There's some that are cheaper, some are more expensive. I don't know. Maybe it just in their case they chose an American school. I don't know what the name of the school is, but it's an American institution that they chose. So they chose to pay. It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably around 100 Singapore dollars per month. So 100 Singapore dollars per month, that's really nothing compared to if you're a foreigner and you have to pay 930, right? And that's what Elaine Song did not understand. That's what Serene Ho did not understand. Elaine Song was basically, she was saying, oh, the reason why she dropped out of school is she's not good in academics. Actually, I don't think that was the problem. The problem is it's just too expensive. And that came out in an interview. It's too expensive. Look at that, $930. $930. And if you're a Singapore citizen, you're only paying 25. So lesson here, guys, if you're a Singapore citizen, be thankful. Be thankful that you're only made to pay $25 for your kids to go to secondary school. If you're a permanent resident, you have to pay 520. That's essentially a little over 20 times what a Singaporean pays. Okay? And then almost twice that is what a foreigner pays. So look at that, guys. Right? And then the same thing goes for hospitalization. Right? She what's her name? Zoe, for example. Zoe has scoliosis, and when you have scoliosis, you need to go to the doctor all the time to get your back checked, right? So she has to go to maybe, obviously in Singapore the cheaper hospitals are the government hospitals. When you go to a government hospital, there is again the same kind of multi-tiered pricing scheme. If you're a Singapore citizen, you pay less. When you're a permanent resident, you pay probably 10, 20 times that. And if you're a foreigner, then you pay a lot more than that. Now, it's still going to be cheaper to go to a public or government hospital in Singapore than it is to go to a private hospital in Singapore, right? But my point is, going to the government hospital or clinic and you're not a Singapore citizen or you're not a permanent resident, you're going to have to pay quite a lot of money, right? If you're a foreigner like they are, you need to rent. You need to pay rent, right? Because you're not allowed to have uh, government housing subsidy. You're not allowed to basically buy. You can't buy government housing. You can't buy an HDB flat, right? If you're a permanent resident, you got to be two of you have to be permanent residents. Then you can buy a flat, and you're going to buy it at market rates, right? You're going to buy it at market rates, and you can only buy resale flats. You can't buy a new flat. Those build to order flats. You can't have that, right? So foreigners have to rent, and rent this year, 2023, is extremely expensive. At least 3,000 for a what do you call this? An HDB flat. It's really expensive these days, right? So my point is, do they have much left? I don't think so. 930 per month, right? So that's the reason why Zoe had to quit school and go with homeschooling. It just makes more sense because it's cheaper, right? So we've established that. We've established that Serene Ho made a huge mistake in what she said. I explained things very carefully and I didn't even insult her, but she went haywire. you see, the point is these people were trying to foment a Singaporean versus Filipino kind of thing, right? They were wanting to make she look at that, the way she said it, and the appears that the Charles and Keith Pinoy go. Why did she even have to say Pinoy? Why? Why did she want to say that? You know why? Because she's an evil psychopath who wants to basically make people, Singaporeans, hate her on account of being a foreigner, on account of her being Filipino. And she clearly wanted to foment hatred towards Zoe just because Zoe was awarded by Charles and Keith, just because Zoe was awarded by AirAsia in becoming a brand ambassador. And she's basically trying to say, oh, see, look at these foreigners. They're taking over all our jobs. They're taking all over the opportunities. That's what she's trying to do. That's what she was trying to do. She was trying to make local Singaporeans get angry at Zoe. And then I stopped that because I basically explained it very carefully. So even people there were people who were against the government who basically also have like this whole, there are too many foreigners in Singapore. They ended up, when they read my stuff, they were convinced, oh, wait a minute, yeah, this guy makes sense. Zoe is not bad. I mean, she didn't do anything wrong. And they turned against Serene. So what basically happened was I foiled Serene Ho's attempts to foment a foreign Singaporeans versus foreigners war. That's what she wanted to do, because Serene Ho is part of a gang of people, all right, who have been making a lot of trouble against the government. That's just unfortunately what has been happening. Okay, they're one of their members, Aaron Heng, is one of those guys who was instigating, and Leslie Ang Kok Wee. Those guys, they were people who were part of this whole plot back in 2014, when the Philippine embassy wanted to originally have um, the Philippine Independence Day celebration to be held right across Lucky Plaza in Ngee City. There was this bunch of people who were really cyberbullying Filipinos, like trying to get Singaporeans to hate Filipinos for having our celebration over at Ngee City. Now, this is the most absurd thing, because Ngee City actually is always used as a place for many international stuff. So back then, many, many, many years ago, there was a huge Mexican celebration. Um, I'm not sure if that was for Mexican Independence Day, but there was a huge. I met some of the people there who were performing, some of the Mexicans, because I speak Spanish, so I made friends with them, and that was long ago. But Ngee City was the site of that, and then there were also like an Argentinian thing going on, or this. I mean, essentially, a lot of different festivals happened there. It wasn't only the Philippine Independence Day that was being planned for that place. There have been a lot of other celebrations held over there. So I totally remember that one with the that was basically a Mexican celebration that was going on long ago, and I found it weird that this bunch of xenophobes would basically make a whole huge fuss about the Philippine embassy trying to make that a venue for a Philippine Independence Day celebration, because obviously it's going to be very convenient for Filipinos who are all going to Lucky Plaza to go there and watch the celebration. I mean, it's very easy because it's in Orchard. Filipinos go to Orchard because that's where Lucky Plaza is. And what did they do? They were saying, no, because this place is actually ours. They're taking over our place. That's what this bunch of xenophobes was trying to do. And I want to make it clear, it's only a small bunch of xenophobes doing this. Most Singaporeans are great people, are good people, are very welcoming people. But this small bunch of hateful, psychopathic xenophobes, they're the ones they're the same group of people who went against the 2014 plan for Philippine Independence Day that was supposed to be held at Ngee City, right? and they were really, they were really casting all kinds of aspersions on us Filipinos. They were all making all kinds of racist stuff about us, calling us cockroaches because we're brown, and that sort of thing. And then they call us Pinoys, as in like the Peenoise, Pinoys, instead of Pinoy. That it's very racist of these people, and they were able to somehow hoodwink a lot of people into going with them. And so, and actually, it's not like they were a majority of Singaporeans. No, they just made a lot of noise, right? Now that's what this group of people is trying to do. Now, okay, let me show you who are these bad people, who are these evil people. Okay, who are these evil people who've been doing all this? Okay, let me. Okay, I need to. No, not this. This is not what I wanted to do. I wanted to show. Okay, all right. I'm going to show you the next slide. Okay, so these are the people who are basically oppressing me and cyberbullying me and maligning me. This person called Serene Ho Shin Ling, known aliases Mark Wang and Pu Ju Eng. Now, when I make it red, it means that these are accounts that seem to be shared across a few other people. It's like Mark Wang is kind of like used by her and a few other people, because like Mark Wang and Pu Ju Eng, they they talk differently. Like some posts sound like she's the one who's posting it, and sometimes it sounds like it's Aaron Heng who's posting it. Aaron Heng is another guy. Is a real bad guy. I mean, all of these people I'm showing you are bad people. Okay? Really evil psychopaths. Okay, Mark Wang again. This guy, he was really doxing me, doxing um, Zoe. It's not a he. It's actually a her. It's her, Serene Ho Shin Ling, and they share this account with some other people. Now, anyway, let's move on and show who the rest of the gang is. Aaron Heng. All right, Aaron Heng. This guy is the most loony of them all. I mean, okay, she's a real loony. This person is a real loony, but this guy is a loony too, and he's a loony because he's had so many run-ins with so many other people in the past. For example, um, he actually attacked. He made sexual comments about Xia Xue. Xia Xue is a famous Singapore blogger, and he said he really insulted her, and he made all kinds of like sexual stuff, sexual comments about her. And the other thing that you need to understand is Aaron Heng is also, so he's one of the guys who was also actively attacking the Philippine embassy back in 2014, and he even made like a letter. He spammed an email to Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong, like berating Prime Minister Lee Hsien Loong for giving approval. It's like why did the Singapore government why the Singapore government make why you allow the Pinoys to have that celebration over there? Why? He was like really angry, and one of the explanations that the prime minister gave was, "Hey, we do it too. We also have our own celebrations when we're abroad. We have Singapore Day. Like we had a Singapore Day, and I was there when I was in London. We had it at a park, and we have it too. So why can't the Filipinos have it, right?" So he was defending us, but this guy, this weirdo, this evil weirdo, okay, he did that, and he tries to get people's addresses. I mean, his wife seems to work for some kind of private investigation company. I hope she loses her license, because basically his wife, her name is Celeste Li Miaosheng, and Li Miaosheng basically sounds like she's from mainland China actually, but I don't know. She could be Singaporean, but has a very pinyin name. I don't know. Um, and she, probably she uses her ability, her access to all this stuff, and then Aaron Hang then uses it. So he tries to he doxes a lot of people. He's done this to so many Singaporeans. So a lot of Singaporeans, when I was being cyberbullied by this bunch of idiots, they all came to me and said, these guys are really bad, blah blah blah, and they've done this to me before, blah blah. They really explained a lot of stuff to me. Okay, now who's next? Leslie Ang Kok Wee. This actually is the real leader of the gang. All right, he has so many fake accounts. One of them is called Moronic Imbecile or Sinorom Elisebmi, and he uses a lot of female characters like Patrice Pei, Terry Tan, and then he has another one. He has two accounts for Durian Tabloid, and he also uses Mark Wang. So sometimes you will see Mark Wang um, saying stuff that sounds a little intelligent. This guy is a little more sophisticated than the other two, because the other two are kind of like Abeng and Alien. They're not very sophisticated, but this guy is a little bit more sophisticated, a bit more well read, and sometimes you will see some stuff that shows that there's been a lot of research done, and that's actually him. So if you see something on Mark Wang that seems like it's well researched or something, like he understands certain things about the Philippines, that's him. That's Leslie Ang Kok Wee. Okay, evil guy, evil psychopath as well. And there's another guy. Now I don't have an idea of what he looks like, but he seems to be another one of Mark Wang. I think he's the main guy who handles Mark Wang. So Mark Wang basically likes to put up all this the Theravada Buddhist stuff. Now, what I know about Elvin Chua is that he's a Buddhist. He pretends to be or claims to be, but he's not pacifist. The same thing with Mark Wang. This Mark Wang is very evil, right? He's always just attacking and doxing and harassing other people. And then he starts putting up these posters of Buddha and with a lot of Thai text on it. And like, what? Come on, this just doesn't. This is not congruent with your personality being a very evil person, And Elvin Chua pretends to be a devout Buddhist, but actually he's very evil. All right. Now, let's look at the next guy. There's this guy called Leonard Ong Un Tien. So Leonard Ong Un Tien, he wrote this thing called "To Whom It May Concern." I'm writing in to share about this foreigner who goes by the name of Ryan Perez Dum Dum, who is a Filipino race. I mean, come on, dude, wrong. There is no such thing as Filipino race. Okay, I think you totally got it wrong, dude. That's why you're freaking racist, Leonard Ong Un Tien. I'm not even sure if this is his real face. I mean, he claims that this is what he looks like, but I don't know. It might actually be fake. Some people were saying that Leonard Ong Un Tien might actually be Aaron Heng. I don't know. I mean, think about it, guys. Heng is the Teochew pronunciation of the surname Ong or Wang in Mandarin. So Wang, which means king in Mandarin. They use the same character, right? Ong is the same as Heng. So I don't know. Maybe it's him. I don't know. But the point is, he's saying, oh, Filipino race. Hey, no, there is no Filipino race. There is Filipino citizenship, Filipino nationality, and we're of different races. A lot of us are Austronesian. Many of us, I'm mostly Austronesian, but I have Chinese descent, and I also have Lebanese and Spanish descent. Okay, so we don't really use the term Filipino race because there are a lot of us who are kind of mixed. We have a lot of Filipino Chinese as well. You know that, right? So we don't use the term Filipino race. We just say Filipino in terms of nationality, right? That's just how it works. So I don't know. What a racist twat. Look at that. And so he's making up stuff. He's making up a story here saying that I'm saying negative things about Singaporeans. No, I never said anything negative against Singaporeans. Never. Why would I even do that? Some of my closest friends are Singaporeans. See? What has happened, though, is I have attacked these people as individuals. Like, there was a video that I made back in April where I was basically calling them stupid idiots because they really are stupid idiots. I said, you stupid idiots. And I was talking to this bunch of people. I named them. I said, Serene Ho, Patrice Pei. I didn't even know who Patrice Pei was back then. I didn't know that was actually Leslie Ang Kok Wee. But I named them. I said, you, Leonard Ong Un Tian, you, Aaron Heng, you and your bunch of xenophobic, racist friends, all of you, you are stupid idiots. I mean, I basically said that. I said, I clearly specified who. I never said Singaporeans are. No. Why would I do that? I have so many friends who are Singaporeans. I've actually been very localized in Singapore already, because the first few years that I stay here in Singapore, I was basically hanging out almost exclusively with Singaporeans. You know, there was a time when every Friday night, I would be with. So I had neighbors who I have a neighbor. I had a neighbor who's um, Malay, married to a Filipina, and he's a good friend of mine, also from the IT industry. And he, um, every Friday we would, because I lived close to him, and we would he had a car, and then we would fetch his other friends. So it was really the Singapore story type of thing. So he had a friend who was Indian, he had a friend who was Chinese, another friend who was a Pranakan Chinese, so that guy was also Catholic like me. And and it was a very, like, so multiracial group, right? And we would all go for coffee or techino, all that, and then prata at night. So we would have supper. So we would be going out and just talking, and every Friday, that was our routine. And so I very quickly got very assimilated into Singapore life, because I visited everyone's homes during Hari Raya. My friend would take me to the his Malay relatives and other friends' homes as well. And and then during Chinese New Year, we would go to other people's homes as well. This kind of open house concept. This was happening a lot. I was really immersed in the whole Singapore lifestyle. And that's how I got very assimilated, and that's why I'm able to speak like a Singaporean. I mean, for the most part, unless I tell people I'm a Filipino, most people just assume I'm a local. They will speak to me in Mandarin, and I'm able to answer in Mandarin as well, because I mean, I came from a Chinese school in the Philippines, so I can understand Mandarin, and I can speak a little bit. I mean, I can converse, very very basic conversation, that kind of thing. So you know this is the kind of thing I can understand a little bit of Singlish. I mean, the slang Singlish. I can't do the very heavy Singlish. I cannot do it, but I can speak with a Singapore accent, right? And it's natural, because I've been living in Singapore since 2000, right? And when I'm abroad, and I hear the Singapore accent or the Malaysian accent, and they're very similar, you know, I light up, and very familiar accent, and then I talk to them with the same accent. That's just what happens, right? I've been very localized already. I mean, come on. How can I be anti-Singaporean? See, so all this BS that these people are creating, they think you're saying negative about Singapore. Come on, it's bullshit, lah. It's total bullshit. I mean, come on. I mean, I don't understand. I mean, these guys are really evil. They're trying to destroy my life. They're trying to destroy my life by making fake news about me. You know, there's one, like, for example, there's this Jason Marcus, is I think it's probably Aaron Heng, because the English was really lousy. So, and I answered him. You alone. I said, like, you alone. Hey, Jason Wang, must be hard, The reason why you are so angry at us foreigners is because you were very lazy in your job. I was just talking to him alone. Now, what have they done? They cut off, they basically spliced the message so that it looks as if I am talking about Singaporeans in general, which is very stupid, right? I have so many videos of me praising Singapore and Singaporeans. I always preach to my fellow Filipinos about how to make the Philippines better by learning from Singapore. See, I mean, this is the thing, right? Anyway, so this guy, this Leonard Ong Un Tian, this is the same idiot who actually he wrote a letter to my parish, the parish that I go to, which is St. Joseph's. He sent it there, and then made all this fake stuff, right? I mean, man, it's come on, man. I mean, just because of my disagreement with Serene Ho, you guys are gonna pounce on me. You guys deserve to go to jail. You guys deserve to be caned. You guys deserve to go to prison. I mean, come on. This kind of fake news that you're doing, all this harassment that you go through, huh? I mean, honestly, I don't understand where you get the gall, you stupid people. Leonard Ong Un Tian, Serene Ho, Aaron Heng, Leslie Angkok Wee. Where you guys get the gall to be such evil fucking idiots? Really? Here's another one. Okay, Rowan Ong Zhijian. Oh, very mainland sounding name. Zhijian. Wow. Wang Zhijian. I don't know. Zhijian. I don't know what's the correct pronunciation of the name. I mean, like the when I say pronunciation, I'm talking about the intonation. Is it Zhijian? I don't know. It's Ong, so he's a Wang. And he made this petition on change.org. So I need everyone watching this to go to change.org and and report it to change.org as being defamatory. I need everyone's help on this because this guy is making stuff, saying stuff that is not true. I'm writing this petition out of personal concern and distress. Several of my friends have lost their Facebook and Instagram accounts. We don't do anything on Instagram. Okay. Maybe I don't know if how it works. If Instagram is linked to Facebook and you lose your Facebook, maybe you lose your Instagram. I don't know. But those people who lost their Instagram, their Facebook accounts, lost it fair and square. Why? They lost it because they were insulting me and a lot of other people. It's that simple. I made it very clear. I have 66,000 followers. And for that, I used my followers. I asked them, hey guys, I need your help. I used the fact that I have a lot of followers to get them to report so many of these hate posts that these evil people did. Who lost their accounts? Okay. This person, Serene Hall, had two main accounts. Her old account from long, long ago with all her pictures and stuff, she lost that first account. She had another account, a backup account. She lost that one too. Why? Because she was violating the community standards of Facebook. She was insulting, she was doxing, she was doing all kinds of things, and she took a lot of screenshots of stuff from that I wrote. She took photos of me and my family. She took photos that were not hers. She took our photos. And what happened? I did a copyright claim. I said, well, hey, Facebook, those are my pictures, my family's pictures. She has no right for that. We have every proof that this is me, this is ours. And that's what happened. All those photos were taken away from her, they were deleted, and she not only got suspended, she got deactivated on both her accounts. All right. Same thing happened to Aaron Heng. He also lost his second account. His first account is back again because he actually preemptively deactivated that. But his second account was lost because he was doing so much insulting that when he got reported, he lost his account. And other people have lost their accounts too. So that's what he's talking about. And then he says, not only has he insulted people, no, I don't insult people on the platforms. Look at my Facebook account. Okay, I haven't even engaged these idiots. I have not. Right now, yes, I'm calling them idiots because they really are. I have every right to. This is the first time I'm actually doing this kind of video in a long, 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 long time. Right? Look, it's only right that I actually also retaliate. Look, causing them emotional distress. What the hell are you talking about, Aqua? Really? Rowan Ong Zhijian. This guy is a real asshole. I mean, this guy needs to be put behind bars, just like all these others. Look at that Leonard Ong Un Tian guy, this Elvin Chua, this Leslie Angkok. Oh, actually, Leslie Angkok Wee was imprisoned for like, I think 6 months in Indonesia because he stole money from his company. So yeah, this guy is really bad. This guy is really evil. And this Aaron Heng, He's actually under. He's got. There's a court case against him right now. And then Serene Ho, she's actually going to jail too because like she's really bad. She's really evil. She deserves to rot in hell and go to jail. That's the truth. All these guys, and this is the Mark Wang guy. So this is the Mark Wang guy. Look at that. He uses a photo of Sun Tzu. So Sun Tzu, Sun Tzu Art of War, Bing Fa. Um, that's the photo he's using here. And it's funny because I'm actually more of a Sun Tzu guy than he is because this is his second account because his first account was deactivated again because these people don't know anything. Look, I'm not pure Chinese. I have some Chinese descent, but they're the ethnic Chinese. But I know more about Sun Guo than they do. I know more about Bing Fa than they do. I know more about how Chinese warfare is done than they do. That's why they ended up losing their accounts, and I'm still totally okay. I'm still totally fine. See what happened? They lost. They got defeated. That's the problem here. These people, these arrogant people, they he functions he fancies himself as being a Sun Tzu type of guy. Sun Tzu type of guy. The opportunity of defeating the enemy is provided by the enemy himself. That's exactly what happened here. You kept on posting stuff that made it easy for me to report. I I reported the stuff every time you posted a photo of me. I ended up taking it back. It was a privacy violation, or it was a um, what do you call it? Some other violation, a copyright violation, or or whenever you screenshot some stuff, I took that down. So I used whatever you did against you. See, that's what happened. So, guys, that's the story of this bunch of weirdos. They're really these are evil people. We're talking about look at this. Look at this. Serene Ho Shin Ling, right? Aaron Heng, Leslie Angkok Wee, and he uses a lot of these fake names, and he doxes me a lot of times. Alvin Chua, again, these are really evil people. Singapore Police Force, we need you to put these guys behind bars, or at least, basically get you they need to be penalized for what they're doing. This all this cyberbullying and maligning and defamation that they're doing against me. I mean, it's really bad, lah. I mean, they've done it to a lot of other Singaporeans as well. They're doing it to me as a foreigner, So anyway, let's get back to business. Let me remove this. All right, so guys, again, I just wanted to make it clear. Look, it's so simple and very easy to understand what exactly happened. What happened was very clear. Someone was being cyberbullied. A fellow Filipino was being cyberbullied. I stepped in to defend her, right? And when I defended her, I made very clear rebuttals that proved all of their accusations and allegations wrong. I proved that they didn't know what they were talking about. I proved that they didn't understand that there was a difference between how much people who are foreigners have to pay for school, for hospital, and for accommodations, for housing. Whereas if you're a local, then if you're a local Singaporean, then yes, you actually qualify to buy a HDB. When you're younger, there needs to be two of you. You're a married couple, then yes, you can buy an HDB. And once you're 35, you can buy an HDB without being married. Even being single, you can have an HDB once you're 35. And then an HDB is bought through a mortgage through your CPF. So again, this is like forced savings, that you have money that you don't see this money coming out of your savings account, because your savings account will basically be intact, right? You'll pay less taxes as well, because some money is put into the CPF, and then it's from the CPF account that you pay your monthly mortgage. It's that simple. That's how it works, right? And then foreigners don't have CPF. Foreigners are not allowed to to get an HDB, to buy an HDB. They're not allowed to. We are not allowed to. So that's how it works. We have to rent. See? So all because I explained it very carefully, it destroyed the narrative that this Serene Ho was trying to peddle. This false narrative that she was trying to spread out. All right. So anyway, I'll go back to my American accent. She was just basically trying to spread all kinds of hatred against against Zoe, and later on against Filipinos and against foreigners. That was the whole plot. And why? Because 2023 is an election year. During every election year, these idiots come out of the woodwork. What do? They try to blame foreigners, say foreigners are bad, there's too many foreigners, there are too many foreigners in Singapore. That's what they try to do, right? And then they'll blame the government and say, don't vote for PAP because they are the reason why there's so many foreigners. And then that's what they're trying to do during an election year, right? Obviously, we knew that Tharman Shanmugaratnam was going to be in the race, and obviously, I mean, everybody sees him as recently having been a PAP member, right? And so again, these anti-PAP people were really trying to exploit this whole anti-foreigner message. That's what they wanted to do. That's why she was really looking to pounce on Zoe, but it didn't work because I stopped her. And because I stopped her, this bunch of political agitators really swooped on me because I basically spoiled their fun. That's what happened. That's really what happened. So guys, now you know the facts, now you know the story. I hope you all spread the word. Please help me out here. Please help me out um, in reporting all of these accounts as either harassing and bullying or as fake accounts. Some of them are fake accounts, but for the most part, they are harassing and bullying. That's what they're always doing. And if you can see the exact things that they post, look at it and then basically just report it to Facebook. Now, if a lot of people do it at the same time, then yes, we will be able to take them down. It's that simple. I mean, look, we're not, when he keeps on saying this Rowan guy, he's saying that several of my friends have lost their Facebook and Instagram accounts. Dude, the reason why they lost their accounts was because they were violating Facebook or Meta's community standards. So how do you not lose your account? Don't go against the community standards. The community standards are all about making things safe and friendly for everyone. Now, if you keep on insulting a lot of other people, obviously, you're going to get your account deactivated eventually. I mean, you're going to, first of all, your posts will get taken down. And after a certain number of strikes, you'll get suspensions. And when you keep on getting suspended and suspended and suspended, you'll eventually get deactivated. Simple as that. So if you don't want to be deactivated, follow the rules of Facebook. So guys, I need your help because why? They created a change.org thing. They created a TikTok. There's this thing by Cuteru, Cutereru, Cutereru. Okay, look for that on Facebook. And sorry, on TikTok. Okay, Cuteroo. Look for that on Facebook, and you will see them making all kinds of false accusations against me, and that's making a lot of people in Singapore who don't know me go against me. So I need your help. Okay, guys. Thank you very much, and good night. Thank you, guys. Bye.